big day for the Wyatt Sicks as they made their debut at a WWE live event in Columbus, Georgia. Following the teases from Joe Gacy that we touched on last night, this took place today as American Made would appear during the show, challenging the Wyatt Sicks to a six-man tag team match. Well, the Wyatt Sicks did show up to battle American Made. The match would be on the second half of the show, the first match of the second half, and you can see here them making their entrance. Look at this. As they record them, they're obviously catching the screen in the background, and you get this really awesome, psychedelic effect to their entrance. Very cool to see. Look at that for a picture. Isn't that a sight? I love that. That looks absolutely amazing. It looks like artwork. I love every single person that's tagged me on this on Twitter or sent it to me in DMs. You guys are amazing. Obviously, it was Joe Gacy, Dexter Lumis, and Eric Rowan, as you'd expect for the six-man tag. But just look at this. Isn't this cool to see just a WWE Super Show? So awesome they're including them now on house shows. It's worth noting they didn't use the Wyatt door, which we saw last night on Smackdown. We've seen it before with A-Town Down Under more clearly, so we knew what this was. But the Wyatt door being on Smackdown, so what does that mean? Why was it there if it wasn't for use at the live event tonight? Nikki and Ivy wasn't left out either. They would get involved in the ring during the match, and for those keeping track, it was Eric Rowan who would pick up the win, defeating Julius Creed with a chokeslam. Something else I found really interesting from this exact same live event tonight was Karrion Kross and Scarlett teaming up to take on Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. We just don't see Scarlett wrestle in WWE, and it's a real shame because Scarlett is amazing in the ring. So hopefully, is this potentially the start of Scarlett becoming an in-ring wrestling character? We most certainly have to send our congratulations to two NXT stars tonight. Javier Bernal and Tatum Paxley have officially got married. That's awesome, isn't it? Congratulations to them. Okay, so maybe the biggest news story of the month, the Lucha Brothers. There's been a lot of hype and expectation. 1 minute we're being told they've signed with WWE. They're heading straight to the main roster. Next minute, they're not signed, but they're en route. Now it looks like we're going to be waiting a while for the Lucha Brothers to show up in WWE. So news would break last night that Rey Fenix is not going to be finishing his contract on the date the contract ends. Tony Khan is going to add on some injury time for time that Rey Fenix was out of action. So that means that Rey Fenix is likely to still remain under AEW contract for up to a year. Now, first things first, Tony Khan is well within his rights to do that. The clauses in the contracts of the Lucha Brothers allow him to do this. They've agreed to these terms. That's the first and most important point. The second point, though, is it's a bit petty, isn't it? I totally get it. You're pissed that two of your top stars are going to head towards WWE. I completely and utterly understand. However, shake their hands, and if maybe things go wrong in WWE, they come back to AEW. Do you know what I mean? And not only that, what are you actually going to do? Let's be fair, Penta is going to be a free agent in a few weeks' time. That's the reports. There's apparently no injury time to add on. So it's not like you've got the Lucha Brothers. Knowing that in a year's time, Rey Fenix is very likely to walk out the door again, is Tony Khan going to utilise him? Is Tony Khan going to push him? Of course he's not. So you're just paying money for absolutely nothing but spite, and the Lucha Brothers, potentially as a tag team, lose up to a year of their careers. That's what I hate, you know? I hated this when WWE did it before. I hate it now AEW's doing it as well. I just feel like their contracted dates are up. They've requested they don't want to re-sign. Just let them go. Do you know what I mean? If you was going to utilise them, maybe it's a little bit different. If I was WWE, I would sign Penta ASAP. I think you should bring him in as a single star and then potentially in promos and stuff allude to my brother and stuff like that and tease Rey Fenix for a year or whatever, if that's what you need to do. I just feel like there's something they could do there. I do think and hope the eventual goal, though, is the Lucha Brothers on the WWE main roster. So while we may have to wait for Lucha Brothers in WWE, something we haven't got to wait for is the return of AJ Styles. Announced last night on Smackdown, AJ Styles returns next week. This comes off the back of some dirt sheet reports that AJ Styles' contract was coming up with WWE. A lot of fans wondering if we'd ever see AJ back on the main roster on TV at least. We saw him do a lot of live events and house shows. Well, WWE answered that question. AJ back next Friday. Something that's coming even closer than that though, NXT this Tuesday will move to the CW network. October 1st, it is the big news story. But there's even bigger news story about this that you may care about even more. And that is that on the CW, NXT has been rated TV-14. This feels pretty monumental. Now, at the moment, it's brand new. There's a lot of rumblings. Could it be a mistake? And of course, those things do happen. We'll have to wait and see. But I wouldn't expect a dramatic shift this Tuesday. The interesting thing is, if NXT is going to be TV-14, how are you going to develop talent away from a PG product to then call them up to a PG product? So if NXT does indeed turn TV-14, you've got to kind of assume that the actual Smackdown and Raw, the main roster of WWE, will also make that transition so characters developed in NXT fit in with the main product, right? Triple H will today post a video of himself, CM Punk, with Larry the Dog as Larry the Dog meets Bianca Belair. Now, while that is interesting in of itself, hi Larry, what was more interesting was Drew McIntyre's response, as he would quote tweet saying, "Oh my god, look at that inbred, flea-ridden POS. Larry looks stupid as well." As we continue the hype and the build for 1 week's time, there's only 1 week left, until Hell in a Cell between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre at WWE's Bad Blood. WWE alumni superstar Layla, former WWE Women's Champion, former Divas Champion, stated today that she is open to returning at the WWE's Royal Rumble. Speaking exclusively to They Made Their Way to the Ring, Layla has pitched the idea. Would you want to see Layla one more time? I think it's a pretty cool idea. We always bring back old superstars for those Royal Rumbles. Let's do it. Layla wants to do it. Why not? A lot of social media buzz as Nikita Lyons from NXT has made her in-ring return at a WWE NXT live event. This is obviously quite interesting. We saw them do this with stars like Wendy Chu and stuff coming off those injuries. So probably in a few weeks' time, we'll expect to see Nikita back on NXT TV. Details are out and they are on screen for the WWE Bad Blood Superstore. Genuinely, look at that WWE Championship. That looks incredible with the white and the red strap. I like that. And I ask this for every PLE because I genuinely love looking at it. If you guys visit the Superstore and you're recording or you take pictures, send them over to me on Twitter at CWrestlingUK. Send them on my Discord server, etc. I love looking at the exclusive merch that they bring out of these superstores. They're really fun. We got this tease on Raw this week and we decoded it on Things You Might Have Missed Raw after the show, and we worked out it said the word war, which we tied to the Viking Raiders. Well, reports out there are stating that there's a lot of rumours that apparently the Vikings will be returning with their old name, the War Raiders. That's interesting. What do you think of a rebrand for the Vikings? I think it's a great idea, personally. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And how could I end this video without showing you this? This is amazing. I know you might not be able to see him, but this is the Simpsons version of John Cena. The Simpsons will have their premiere episode tomorrow night on Fox, and John Cena will guest star. He looks old as a Simpsons character, doesn't he? But there you go, there's your updated wrestling news. A bit later than what we usually put these videos out, but I wanted to include that Wyatt Sicks news. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, share the video, it really does help it out here on YouTube, and I'll catch you next time. Peace!